coconut oil isn't talked about in the Bible purely because the coconuts didn't grow around where the Bible was written. So the Bible does talk about an oil, and it's the oil that was grown where the Bible was written. And what is that? The olive oil. Absolutely. Well, is olive oil bad? We might just turn aside from coconut oil. We'll come back to it. And look at olive oil. Let's put olive oil through the BHSC method. Bible, does it talk about olive oil? Oh, yes. I think God must love olive oil because there are quite a few illustrations of olive oil. And there's that beautiful story of the lady whose husband died, but her husband was in debt, so the sons were going to be sold into slavery. So she went to the prophet. He said, "What do you have in your house?" She said, "I've got a couple of big olive oil jars." He said, "Go and find more. Get from your neighbours." And God filled every oil jar with olive oil. She sold the oil. She got enough money to pay the debts, and her sons weren't sold into slavery. What do you think that oil was used for? Eating. Yeah, maybe they put a bit on their skin. But it's a very concentrated food, so you don't need much. So I'm sure that was expensive because it's so concentrated. Now, that's coming down to common sense, isn't it? And I don't know about you, but I could not drink a cup of olive oil. No, it's too expensive, and I don't think I'd feel very good. It's very concentrated. Common sense says just a little bit. So Bible certainly talks about it, but God also gave a story in the Bible with Elijah in the time of no rain. And a widow fed him for 3 years. And remember what he said to the widow? "If you feed me," God said, "the meal will not lack nor the oil fail." And every morning when she woke up, there was a little bit more olive oil in the cruse. What has God just said about olive oil? It's good. History? Well, we're told that it causes heart disease. But did you know that before the Industrial Revolution, heart disease and strokes were quite rare? So then we need to investigate. So what happened in the Industrial Revolution? But before we look at that, let's look at the hundreds of years before the Industrial Revolution, where heart disease was quite minor. Were people eating oils? I go to the South Pacific Islands. They have coconut oil or milk or cream in every meal. And when Captain Cook landed on those islands, there were no heart attacks. There were no strokes. There's our history. And the Mediterranean diet that's always used a lot of olive oil, no heart attacks or strokes before the Industrial Revolution. So what happened in the Industrial Revolution? In the Industrial Revolution, they developed high heat chemical equipment to be able to extract oil from hard seeds. You see, the coconut oil and the olive oil are both extracted from the flesh of the plant, which means they can be extracted by women in their kitchens. No, I don't extract olive oil from olives in my kitchen. Maybe I would if I had a lot of olives trees growing around me. So here we're getting to common sense. And the two oils that are the most stable are coconut. Why is it so stable? Because it's a saturated fat. And do you know what saturated fat means? It's saturated so there's no empty spots on the molecular structure. So it's heat resistant, light resistant, and oxygen resistant. It is the most stable oil. And it didn't cause the island people to have heart attacks. Olive oil is called a monounsaturated fat. Mono meaning one, there is one empty spot on the fatty acid chain. So please, when you buy olive oil, buy it in a dark bottle and keep it in the cool because it has one empty spot. But the polyunsaturated, poly means many. The polyunsaturated have many open spots, so they're very volatile, easily destroyed with exposure to light, heat and oxygen. And they're the oils that they use or they extracted from the hard seeds, and they're the ones you'll find in the supermarket in the clear plastic bottles: canola oil, corn oil, soy oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. Don't touch them. Don't touch them because they're damaged oils. And those damaged oils can damage your arterial walls. Margarine, one of the worst. It's a documented fact that it's the number one cause of macular degeneration. It's a toxic fat. Don't touch it. There's only two oils you'll find in my kitchen: olive oil and coconut oil.